Okay, we're going to discuss and start a whole new series, and you're really lucky to be part of it, and that is the concept of respect. As we know, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And we all know it when we feel it, but we don't really know how to define it. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to give you the word in Hebrew. The word is kavod. Kavod means respect or dignity. And what we're going to do is, in this series, each time chop away and make clearer what kavod means, what respect actually means. Now, to start it off in a question form, this thing called respect, meaning a person might want or need respect. I need water, that's a definite. Air, definite. Kavod. Maybe I want it, but do I need it? Is it something good to have? And we're going to look into that. The answer is yes and no. On one hand, we see here the Talmud says that you have to have respect for your friend. It should be dear to you as it is for your own respect. So respect is important. But you want to run away from it as well. So what is this mysterious thing? How do you define respect? And is respect based on something? Meaning, do you have to earn respect? Should you hold back the feeling of kavod from yourself until you've reached a point where you now feel deserving of that realm? Or is there an innate sense of respect? So what is that? How do we produce it? And most importantly, how do we give that to others? As we mentioned, that the purpose is to grow, but growth is influenced by environment. And the most salient feature of our environment is other people. That we're affected by other people, and we are affecting other people. And we believe that we have the power to change how we affect others and how we're affected. So in this realm of respect, most importantly comes relationships, because that's the main feature of our reality. So I want to phrase it and then focus in on the realm of starting with self-respect. So we mentioned before, we're here as Jewish people, we are ultimately descended from Abraham. And Abraham brought to the world the concept that everything is united. And what action is he known for? He's known for the act of what's in Hebrew called chesed, which means kindness. And what kindness? That he brought people into his home. The mitzvah of having people in Hebrew is called hachnasas orchin. So Abraham put down this concept that there's thoughts and belief, but ultimately life is lived in the world of action. And what should be my actions in relationship to the world? I want to bring good to the world. So it wasn't just a mystical revelation that the world is one, and I will meditate and enjoy that concept, but I will take that concept of unity, create responsibility, and now I'll take action and do good. So the framework of our lives is we want to be in this realm of good. Now, why is that true? Because there's a thing called similitude, being similar. We believe just as God, as we define, is the creator and sustainer of every cell in the universe, there's this life force that is moving forward. So we want to be similar, and we want to move forward. We want to move forward to the point where we're part of the process of life. On a physical level, everybody is here because life moves forward. That your great-great-grandparents met, they had your great-great-grandmother, or grandmother, etc. It moved. Life is moving. Everybody here, everybody's cell, every cell in your body is ultimately new within every 7 years. Meaning you're the same person, but your cells die and they are reborn. And so every 7 years, every cell of your body is a completely different cell that was there 7 years prior. Life is constantly moving forward. So being similar means I want to be part of the process of giving life. You need food, you need shelter, you need something to drink. Here, I'm being similar, and therefore I am being part of this realm of God. So life is in a forward-giving motion. Now, we have a concept, that works in a large sense, That means when a person would lose their house and their possessions, so you want to give them food, you want to provide for them. That's at a large scale. But there's a micro scale that is in every single interaction that we have with each other. So what is that? That the main mitzvah, as we discussed, is to love your friend like you love yourself. That's the general rule in the Torah, the ultimate summary mitzvah. So we mentioned, what do you mean, love your friend like you love yourself? How can you be commanded in an emotion? I have to love you? What if I don't love you? Shouldn't love be natural? And why kamocha? Why like yourself? Why the modification? Just say love your friend. Like yourself? Why is there this modification? So to bring out this concept, I want to refer back to there's the written law and the oral law, the verbal law. The verbal law brings out what the written says. In the written it says, love your friend like you love yourself. But what does love mean? So says this Talmud, this Mishnah here, that, it means that the kavod of your friend, chavercha, the respect that you have for your friend, chaviv alecha, it should be dear to you, just like your own. So the respect to you has to be dear to me like my respect is dear to me. What is that saying? That love your friend like you love yourself. What does that mean? Who does that? Hug, kiss, I love you. That's an emotion. Practical love towards someone is translated as respect. The respect that I have, your respect, it's dear to me like my own respect. Now, what does that mean? It's dear, that's the beginning of a letter, I don't understand that word. Chaviv, what does chaviv mean? And your respect has to be dear to you, to me, like my own. What is my own sense of respect? To what degree do I have a sense of respect? So here's how it goes. Everywhere you go, you follow. Wherever you go, you will show up. You're going to be there. People are like, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go to California. You'll be there too. You and all of your possible problems in perspective are going to follow you wherever you go. The entire life that you experience is lived out of the lens called yourself. And everybody, as you develop as an individual, you have an estimation of the value of your sense of self. How much are you worth? How much are you valued? To what degree is your I-ness, your sense of self, have value? So, in a cultural metaphor, George Costanza in Seinfeld, so he has a very low sense of value for his essence, for himself. There's a famous episode called The Opposite, in which George realizes that every single instinct that he's ever had in his life has been incorrect. And Jerry goads him a little bit and says, well, if every instinct you ever had is incorrect, so if you do the opposite of your instinct, that must be correct. And therefore, George has a set of events in which he does the exact opposite of everything his instinct. And Larry David pointed out that actually in the first Seinfeld episode ever, this joke, this concept of going against your instinct was mentioned. Because what does that mean? As we mentioned, and if you watch Curb Your Insecurity, that the concept is that Larry says straight that when he was raised, he felt a sense of valuelessness. He did not feel valued. In an interview with Susie Essen, he said that his mother said to him, "You're not special. You're not special. You don't have any value." If you look at the Costanzas, Frank and Estelle Costanza, how they deal with George, they don't instill with him any value, and therefore he lives in a sense of like every instinct that I have is wrong. I am complete opposite of the way that I should be. Now, that means your assessment of yourself is very, very low, very small in that area. So if that's true, I have no sense of respect. I have no weight. So that means I'm consumed by my own inadequacies in functioning in life. Meaning, I am frustrated and consumed by the fact that I am unable to function correctly in life. And to the degree that I'm angry about it. Towards who is he angry? He's angry at himself. So frustrating, I can't function. And therefore, as we see in the episode that I posted, that he has a rage control, and he goes to Rageaholics Anonymous meeting because his rage towards other people is, as he says, why am I mad? Because the whole world is against me. The entire world that I live in is against me. That's the opposite of respect. So I want to slow it down so you see it on the I need a weather map screen. You have your inner sense, your sense of definition, and that modifies everything around. An egg has a yolk, and then it has some gooey stuff around it. You have the inner part, that's yours, how you define yourself, and that influences your perspective and occurrences of every action that you have. So when you belittle yourself, you don't hold of who you are. Your natural instinct is stupidity. So that means your essence is dumb. You yourself are malfunctioning. You have no value. You are a broken typewriter taking up space. You have no value. That's called lacking self-respect, or in English, dignity. The Hebrew word kavod comes from the word koved, which means heavy. Heavy means you feel the heaviness of who you are. You feel the importance of your mission in life. Our juxtapose in life is, do we feel like George? Do we allow the natural culture of our society to devalue us to ourselves? Or do we feel a sense of heaviness in our mission, that I have a life that is important? I can trust my instincts. The person that I am has important weight. That is not egotism, that's a basic level of functioning. In order for a person to actually live, you might be able to have temporary moments of where your gas tank goes with the gas light on, but ultimately you need, for a healthy car, to have that thing at least always half full. The person has to feel that I am not everything I do is ultimately wrong, that there is good inside of me. Now, if I could have cover for myself, and it's important to me, then in dealing with you, I could now have the strength to look at you and deal with how your sense of respect, how it fits, how the square peg fits into the square hole for you. So love your friend like you love yourself. That's not a hug love. It means just like I need life, and love brings life, just like every person is born from the union of a man and a woman, that brings life into the world. Love brings life. When you have love for yourself, that brings life. When you have love for others, that brings life. What's the life-giving action that you do towards other people? That you give them the respect, the same heaviness that you hopefully have for yourself. Meaning, if you don't have respect for yourself, then what is it being compared to? But if you know the concept that you hate when someone thinks you're an idiot, and you expect and believe that you should be dealt with as a smart person, as somebody of value. Well, if you know that for yourself and you hate to be belittled, then when you deal with other people, don't belittle them. You don't want to be belittled. You can't function in that area. So you can't, when you deal with other people, facilitate that they should live. So there's a famous line, speaking of George, in which some guy gets him at a meeting, says some great thing. Hey, he's eating a lot of shrimp. So the says, hey, George, the ocean called. They want some shrimp back. So he's like, I should have said this, I should have said that. He gets a crazy line in his head that's ridiculous, and he goes with it. He says, well, the jerkster called, they want you back. And that's not a funny line, it's a ridiculous line. But he's like, I have to get you back. I have to even the score. But why? Why do you have to even the score? It's a sense of anger that I have towards myself. He got me, so I have to even the score. So when you look at the Mishnah inside, it says, you should value the respect of your friend like you do for yourself. And don't be quick on anger. Everybody asks, what does one thing have to do with the other? Have respect for your friend like you do for yourself, and don't be quick to anger. Is there a connection? Yeah, because if you're quick to anger, then you won't take the pause. Or if you're quick to anger, you have anger within, that will disable you from giving the kavod towards the out. So all of us in life need to feel that we have a sense of value. And if we have that, then we'll value it in others. But let me give you the take-home point. But it's the obligation to give it to others that wakes you up to have it for yourself. Meaning that all of us on our own, if we just lived on some island, would we have the sense of respect? Maybe yes, maybe no. But there's a mitzvah to have respect to someone else like you do for yourself. That means, I have to start creating that energy within, and I have to therefore deal with you on that area. Somebody wrote a book on dignity. Everyone said, wow, that's really great that you wrote a book on dignity, because we all need to have meaning. And this person wrote in their introduction that oftentimes when you interview people, they feel constantly belittled at their work, that they have no value, but they're afraid to say something because it's a very tough job market. So what happens? They subject themselves to belittlement on a daily basis, and they come home with that energy. That energy in Judaism is called death. If you are belittled and you feel it and you believe it, you allow yourself to be belittled, so then you are dysfunctional. A person has to feel that I have a sense of value, that my purpose on earth, what that is, has a real value to it. And I have what's a very important word, something called dignity. Dignity is not stupidity. It's not the queen making a hand motion. Dignity means I have a sense of self-respect that I have to maintain. If you have that sense of self-respect, then part of your self-respect is to give it to others. If you have no sense of self-respect, then you're going to be subject to all forms of pettiness. Then you'll want to have revenge on people, like similar to George. The Talmud says that somebody that eats like an animal in the street, you can't use them as a witness in the court system. Everybody asks, what does one thing have to do with the other? Because someone that doesn't have self-respect, you can't trust that what they're saying is true. They're disconnected from reality. And all of us have to ultimately, media is great, culture is great, but when we are connected to more people than we've ever been in the entire history of mankind, then we feel smaller. And when we're not sensitive towards this thing of you're an individual, I'm an individual, we are each important, when we lose sight of that, then we really lost sight of sanity. The ultimate realm of sanity starts when you believe that your life has purpose, and not just intellectually in a belief system it has purpose, but that you live in a way that you have such self-respect that you function in that manner that you're able to give respect to others. And then you've done the ultimate good for the world. People who are cold need blankets and coats. That's doing good on a singular action that could happen once in a month. But on a daily basis, hundreds of times, every single day, you have the ability to not only feel self-respect within, but also to facilitate an environment in which other people also feel their sense of self. You can affect not only your own perspective towards who you are, but you could actually enable other people to feel that as well. That's the mitzvah. We're going to go further, but thank you guys. The end.